Hey, this is Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under, and you're listening to Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. Let your ears bleed on Rock 94.7.
Chris, I've got a couple of questions for you from some Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare listeners. If you don't mind, one of our listeners, Robert Mieska, asks, dude, what's up with the car dealer commercial you did for Park Auto Mall? Because I've watched the video several times, and it's surreal is what it is. So how did that come about?
Those guys at Park Auto Mall, they really helped me out. I wanted the car. It was a tough deal to get through, and they really did a good job at making it work out for me. The car was amazing. I had a lot of trouble finding that car specifically. I bought a car on eBay, and it was a pile of junk, and I ended up having to send it back to California. It was a nightmare. So, which mostly happens to me no matter what I do. I usually just have really bad luck. So those guys did me such a great solid, and they really kind of settled that bad taste in my mouth from the deal before that they asked me to do a little video. And it wasn't really, they knew I was in a band, but they kind of do those for all the customers if they're really excited about their car. So I was like, at first I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then, I was kind of guilted into it, you could say. So
at any point did you warn them, like, you do know what band I'm in, right? So did you play a couple of tracks for them? Or?
They kind of figured it out. They went online, and it was no secret. They're like, why is this crazy guy with dreadlocks coming to buy this Porsche, And so they, they had to run my credit, and they saw Metal Blade Records on there. I mean, it was like, okay. So anyhow, the whole moral of the story was they did such a good job, and I felt like, hey, these guys are a local dealership that are really cool, and they got really awesome cars. So why not cheese it up for the camera? And boy, do I regret that decision.
I mean, dude, I write commercials for a living. I thought it was a brilliant piece of work. I mean, that's a nice bit for sure. The car you bought in the commercial was the Porsche. Are you still driving it?
I am, surprisingly, because I go through cars like I go through socks. I've had, strange bouts with buying cars and selling them. And, a friend of mine wants to actually become a car dealer because it seems like I do it anyway. So
there you go. There's got to be a story there somewhere. What is the worst car you've ever driven?
Oh, wow. The worst. This will link it all together here. I bought I believe a 1972 ice blue Pinto from Paul Mazurkowitz of Cannibal Corpse when I was 16 years old. It was his car, and I had it for one day. I drove it out on a date for about 26 miles, and drove it back home, and basically it didn't run after that. So I had one trip in that car, and Paul sold it to me. So if you ever talk to Paul, thank him for that one.
Now, Chris, as long as you're up for doing commercial endorsements, I've come up with a line of products that I'm pretty sure that you could put your stamp of approval on. Yes or no, would Chris Barnes endorse, just in time for the release now of your new album, Undead, how about Undread Dreadlock Styling Gel?
Nice, yeah, I like that, for sure.
Okay, now how about Command Mentholyptus Throat Lozenges?
That would work, yes.
Okay, and the final product, Marijuana Menthol Lights.
I would not put my approval on that one, no.
Is it the menthol that turns it off? What if maybe non-filters? Would that work?
Yeah, I guess the menthol really ruins it for me.
I'll take that back to our marketing people. Okay. We've got another listener question. Jesse from our Scary Terry Saturday Nightmare Facebook page. He wants to know all about the upcoming tour. You've got a couple of dates in our neck of the woods, one in Chicago on June 13th at Reggie's, and then another on June 16th in Des Moines, Iowa. That's a bit of a road trip, but it's worth it to see 6 Feet Under. What's going down with the tour, man?
The tour's titled 18 Nights of Blood. It's going to be, an intimate, up-close, evening everywhere we play, and with the band and with our friends Dying Fetus and Revocation. It's an interesting tour. We're going out on this. There's no real headliners. We're all playing the same amount of set time. Equal billing. It's going to be great, man. I just want to do a tour where there's no headliner. We're all equals in this business, and we have our own fan base that, everyone, all the fans out there enjoy all the bands. I think all three of the bands have a good crossover audience. It's just going to be an awesome tour, and we're really looking forward to it. There's something I've always said is, if the bands are having a good time backstage, the fans are always going to have a great time out front stage. So, it's always a good time to get to tour with old friends and new friends, that we haven't met before. I think that this tour is going to be a heck of a lot of fun for everybody involved.
Now, Jesse had a follow-up question to that. Given the fact that you guys are on the same label and that over a decade and a half has passed since you departed from Cannibal Corpse, what are the odds of seeing 6 Feet Under and Cannibal Corpse on a tour together? And I guess we're keeping the Pinto story in mind, too. So.
Well, that's definitely an idea that has been posed to the band from my side and from the label side. I would think maybe that's a possibility, but I wouldn't say that I can say that it's going to be anytime soon. I would like it to be. I really would. I would really love to tour with those guys. It's a great question and something not many people kind of dare to ask. So bravo to Jesse.
Oh, that's one thing that our Facebook fans have. They got balls, man. That's for sure.
Yes,
that's for
they
sure.
do. Yeah.
And then they send
awesome.
me to ask the questions.
Yeah, you're kind of the middleman, so you'll be slaughtered.
Exactly.
Safe behind the keyboard. So, but no, it's man. It would be a great tour. I would love it. Those guys are still dear friends of mine, and I'd jump on that tour for sure, no problem.
So, if Cannibal Corpse were in a strange alternate universe, if Corpse were to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you wouldn't pull an Axl then?
Oh, never, man. No. I would be like, that would be like probably, the greatest day of my life, probably.
I'm just trying to imagine the world where Cannibal Corpse could be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't know, man. It's a future world where scary things have come true, I guess.
That or we're inside of an episode of Metalocalypse. That's a likely deal too.
Possibility, or yeah.
You're listening to 13 Questions on Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare is a 3-hour metal show heard every Saturday night from 9 until midnight on Rock 94.7, 102.9 in central Wisconsin, and online worldwide at rock947.com. Our 13 Questions interview with Chris Barnes of 6 Feet Under continues.
Now, this may come as a surprise to some of our listeners, but on your official bio, you list the Grateful Dead as your favorite band. In what way has the ultimate hippie jam band influenced an act as brutal as 6 Feet Under?
Well, I would think that a lot of people say that we're really best live to experience, and so are the Grateful Dead. So I guess there's a little bit of a simile there, but I would not directly, influenced, but I've always appreciated them since I was at one of their shows at one point, and tripped harder on some crazy window pane than I've ever tripped in my life. So, but man, it was quite an experience, and I think that the Grateful Dead are an acquired taste, and those that really like them really, really like them. And people that don't get it really don't get it. So, but and I was one of those people for some time. I guess it just took a couple doses of LSD to really switch my mind around.
Okay, we got one more question for you, Chris. Now, you've been in the scene forever and a day now. You've probably been asked every dumb question in the world by every dumb DJ in the world. So here's your chance to finally set the record here. Is there a question you wish someone would ask you in an interview, but no one ever does?
Probably just more in-depth questions, very specific questions. When people ask me, like, what lyrics are about or something like that, I kind of wish that they would ask me real specific details, like what does this line really mean? What were you thinking when you wrote that verse? How is that? What's the meaning behind that? And just be very specific about it, and not so general, because it's so difficult to give an answer so specific about like something that's kind of personal to each person reading it or listening to it.
Well, let's see. What I'm going to do then real quick, because I want to oblige you here, okay? So I'm going to... I just randomly Googled a 6 Feet Under song, and let's see here.
Son of a bitch, Harry. You son of a bitch.
So what I've pulled up here is Hacked to Pieces. It's a 6 Feet Under classic. So I want to know what was going through your mind as you uttered the lines, kill, blood.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So that's a good one to pick, because it won't be that hard to explain. Now, that song is like the whole... beginning of the song, bleed, disease, I'll start to blah, blah, blah. Those are all like references to blood, bleeding.
So this was your way of bringing them to a new 6 Feet Under then?
Yeah, it was kind of and in a way, an interesting idea and a story somewhat.
You know something, Chris? I just realized that my boss will kill me if I put this discussion on our podcast completely uncensored. So
yeah, pretty much.
This may be a blown segment.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing the next stories you have to tell with Undead when it drops on May 22nd. That is Chris Barnes, lead vocalist of 6 Feet Under. Like them on Facebook. Follow them on Twitter at 6 Feet Official. Check out their official website, sfu420.com. And make sure you pick up their latest album, Undead, when it hits stores on the internet on May 22nd. Chris, thank you so much for being on Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare.
Well, Terry, thank you for an interesting talk, and it was fun. I think we delved into some scary subjects, so it's always good.
Well, we aims to please. That's what we do.
Thanks, buddy.
And thank you for listening to Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare. Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare is a 3-hour metal show heard every single Saturday night from 9 until midnight Central Standard Time on Rock 94.7, 102.9 in Central Wisconsin, and worldwide online at rock947.com. Like Scary Terry's Saturday Nightmare on Facebook. I'm Terry Stevens. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's at TerryRock947. I also invite you to check out other 13 Questions podcasts that we've done with other metal artists. You can find those online at rock947.com. Thanks for listening.